He sits in his parked car outside her apartment building. He rehearses the line he's already rejected twice. He arranges his face in the rearview mirror, softer, then sharper, then softer again. She hasn't seen him yet. The man who walks into her apartment in 5 minutes won't be him. It'll be the version of him he thinks she wants. He's already lost the date he hasn't started. There's no panel grading you. There never was. The audition is in your head. The moment you started running it, you stepped out of yourself and walked around to her side of the table. From over there, looking back, you started grading the man you used to be a minute ago. Whatever he says now, whatever he does, it gets read from a place he isn't standing in anymore. You felt this, rehearsing the text 3 times before sending, editing the sentence in your mouth as it leaves, watching your face from somewhere outside it and adjusting. That moment in the last one when you couldn't move freely anymore because every move was being scored, that wasn't her. That was you, grading yourself from her chair. She wasn't even in her chair. You were. This video isn't going to give you a better script for the audition. It's not going to teach you to be authentic. That's just another performance with the word authentic written on the costume. What this video is going to do is name the trap, show you the moment the audition started, show you who put the judge in the chair, and give you the one noticing, at the end, that pulls the camera out of your head. If you've ever caught yourself watching yourself talk and couldn't stop, this is the thing nobody named for you. If you're still here at the end, hit subscribe. We go here every week. Mark Snyder is a social psychologist who spent his career on a single question. Why do some people behave the same in every room they walk into, while others change to match the room they think they're in? He named it self-monitoring. Low self-monitors act from the inside out. Their behavior comes from who they actually are, regardless of who's watching. High self-monitors act from the outside in. They read the room first, then perform the version of themselves the room seems to want. In his 1980s research on dating, Snyder found something quiet and brutal. High self-monitors don't form deep, long-term relationships. They swap partners faster. They treat every relationship as an activity to be won, not a person to be known. Not because they're shallow, because they're never actually there. 2 people are sitting at the dinner table, the one talking and the one watching the talker and writing notes. She hasn't met one of them yet. She might never. Here's the part most men miss. The judge isn't her. The judge is you. You're the one watching the man across from you and grading every move he makes. When you walk into a date trying to be chosen, you've already crossed over to the judge's side. You're scoring the candidate from her chair, and the candidate, sitting across from her, can feel that the man supposed to be in his body has stepped out and is reviewing him from above. She's just a woman across from a man who isn't quite home. Stop the tape. Read this twice. The judgment you can't pass is yours. The room you can't enter is the one inside your head. The judge wasn't there at birth. There was a boy, 5, 6, 7 years old. Somewhere in there, he learned a small thing that organized everything afterward. He learned that being approved of was the difference between safe and not safe. It was the mother whose face changed when he failed to please. The father whose attention only landed on him when he had something to show. The teacher whose love came with a grade. Whoever it was, he learned the rule fast because his small body needed to. There's a version of me they want and a version of me they don't. I have to find the first one and stay in it, or I lose them. So the boy got good at watching. He watched their faces. He read the room. He adjusted before he spoke. He learned to laugh exactly when his mother laughed, because her laugh meant the room was safe. He learned not to ask for the second cookie, because the look his father gave him the time he asked twice was a look he never wanted again. He learned what mood meant. what it meant when the front door slammed, and how soft to make himself when the slam came. He developed a radar so fine he could feel a mood shift across a hallway. That radar saved him. Then it never turned off. He grew up. The mother's face got older. The father got smaller. But the audience he learned to read at 6 didn't leave when they did. It moved inside. Now he's 32, sitting across from a woman he likes, and the audience is right there in the chair behind her. Same panel, different lighting, different actress, same exam. She isn't grading him. She doesn't know there's a test. She's just a woman drinking wine, asking him about his week. He's grading himself through her face. The radar he built when he was 6 is reading her micro-expressions for safety. Every flicker of her eyebrow is a verdict. Every 2-second pause is the panel taking notes. The verdict was written when he was a child. Tonight she's just standing in for the people who first taught him he had to perform to be loved. He thinks she's tracking every word, every move, every sentence, every choice of restaurant. She isn't. In 2000, 3 psychologists ran a study most men have never heard of. They had subjects walk into a room wearing a t-shirt. The shirt was loud, bright color, embarrassing logo. Then they asked the subject how many people in the room would notice and remember it. The subjects predicted half. The actual number was less than a quarter. That gap is called the spotlight effect. The light you feel beating down on you is twice as bright in your head as it is in the room. She's not running a checklist on you. She's not scoring your jokes against the last man's jokes. She's mostly thinking about her own day, her own week, her own life. What she picks up, without grading you for it, is whether the man across from her is in his body or somewhere else. Presence. The man across from her is in his body, in this conversation, in this moment. There's a person to talk to. Absence is harder to name, but easy to feel. The body shows up. The human is upstairs in his own head, watching the body do its lines. She knows it instantly. The man whose laugh has time in it. The man who pauses before answering, not because he's calculating, but because he's actually thinking about the question. The man who looks at her when she's talking instead of through her, scanning for cues. Women cannot be drawn to a man who isn't there. Not because they did the math and decided no, because there was nothing to be drawn to. The seat was empty. The body was on stage somewhere else. In 2010, Brian Goldman and a team published a study on dispositional authenticity in dating couples. The cleanest finding, the man's authenticity. Not his confidence, not his value, not his frame. Predicted how his partner felt in the relationship 2 weeks later. Not because authenticity is some kind of performance. The opposite. Authenticity is what's left when the performance ends. It's the man being a person in the room, available to be met. She doesn't disqualify him for failing the test. She drifts because there was nobody there to keep her company. Here's the twist. You think the trap is wanting to be chosen. It isn't. The trap is the act of trying. Trying to be chosen requires you to step outside your own body and grade the man inside from her side. The grading is the leaving. The leaving is what she feels. She doesn't choose the man on the stage. There's no man, there's just a man-shaped performance with the actor watching from the wings. But there's a deeper trap below it. The move is not to stop trying. If you try to stop trying, you've just rebranded the audition. Look How Indifferent I Am is the same panel with new costuming. The move is the noticing, not the performance change. Catch yourself in the act. Just see it. Now the question. Tonight, or tomorrow, or the next time you're with her, when you feel yourself rehearsing the line before you say it, editing the sentence as it leaves your mouth, watching your own face from somewhere above your head. Ask one thing. The question isn't, what should I say? It isn't, how am I doing? The question is, who am I performing for right now? Who is sitting in the chair? Look at the chair. If it's empty, you don't try to perform empty too. You just see it's empty. The audition ends the moment you see who isn't watching. The men she keeps aren't the ones who passed her test. They're the ones who walked out of an audition they never knew they were in. The room found them as a side effect because they were finally here, in their bodies, in their actual lives. The chair was empty the whole time. When was the last time you caught yourself rehearsing for a judge who wasn't there? Drop it in the comments. I read them. If this is landing, hit subscribe. We go here every week. MindCode. Decode your mind. Protect your peace.